viewers, it's DefSF2 here once again for another YouTube video. Today we're going to do a review of Jak and Daxter collection. So, sorry about that. Let's begin, shall we? So when you first begin, turning on your Psvita, putting the game in, you get to this weird thing that says mass media, which I really don't know who it is. And then we get this. Now there's 3 things you can choose. Well, 3 games I should say, and the credits. It can be Jak 3, Jak 2, or Jak and Daxter. Now, I'm going to do this one by one and combine it all together into one video. So, let's see here. Let's start out with the one with the most frame rate drops, stuff like that. Now, there's a lot of things good with this game, a lot of things that aren't. Which is pretty good looking, is Jak and Daxter, the first start to this video game series. Now you can choose a new load, and there's options, which I'm not going to go through the options. And then you get the little this. And what's amazing is that the loading isn't really that long, so you don't have to wait through everything. Now, as you can tell, there's a lot of stuff you can see which is pretty good. Sometimes it's smooth, then when you try to move it down, sometimes it get really choppy. Now, there's a problem with the first game. Now, there's a lot of good things like the graphics, the combat system, but there's also a lot of stuff that has been added which can make the game easy or bad. Now, the dramatic environments provide a unique set of variety that you will love for everyone. And the music is always relaxing most of the time and has an ancient kind of feel to it. But there's also a lot of frame rate drops due to each place. But you get a wider set of simplistic buttons commands. Press X to jump, square to do a charge, circle to do a spin, triangle used to go on the camera. Now if you jump, you can also press square, circle, not triangle, and you can do different amounts of attacks. You can also press L to kneel down, which is usually not useful except when you're doing a roll, which is called a long jump. You can also use L and R to use a higher leap that gets you up to higher ledges. In Jak 2 and Jak 3 though, that doesn't count because they nerfed it. And the only other problems that you will have is that the graphics when you defeat an enemy, which I'm going to go through with the next, game. Now, as you can tell, that every game has great openings, some more flashier than others. Now, this is their second attempt in Jak series. Now, this one is pretty good on the Vita, handles way better than the other one, mostly because on Jak 2, Jak and Daxter, they combined everything into one game. There was no load screens, and everything was by frame together. So that's what makes it so crappy. But in this game, they separated. And the graphics run good. There's frame rate drops when you go to a new area. But other than that, the gameplay seems good and solid. Now when you pass through the game, you're going to go through wide obstacles in some way challenging than the other. And that it could be good or bad depending on who you are. Now, when I shoot this person, you're going to see some color come out. Look at that flash. Now the problem with that is that when you kill a lot of enemies, it will decrease the frame rate. And depending if you're okay with the frame rate or not, you're not going to like it. There's also, if you press a rear touchpad, you can use the hoverboard, which is also in Jak 3. The only problem is that when you jump, sometimes your hand is right on the back touchscreen. You'll do a little thing where you're going your hoverboard, and which is not good. Now there's a wide set of weapons you can use, from like what I like to call a shotgun, to a really strong blast that kills multiple things at once, to a machine gun. Now, another problem I have with the game is that they have so much entities on one screen at once that sometimes it's uncontrollable. And also the difficulty rate rises in between gaps, and it can be really hard at some points and really easy at others. Which in Jak 3 they only get harder as you go along. And the size of the map is really big compared to Jak and Daxter. Due to some readjustments on the Vita, it's really plausible and really has no problem. There's not much lag in this game, but Jak and Daxter has the most due to how they crop everything together. The music in this game is pretty straightforward. It's like any other Jak and Daxter game, so it's gonna have that rhythm to it that you're just gonna love. Now it's time to go towards the final game in this trilogy, so let's go on. Depending on where you go in the series, Jak 3 has the most expansive feel to it and the most simplistic. It's pretty straightforward, let alone from the craziness of the story log. Other than that, it's pretty amazing. Now you first get introduced by a cutscene from Jak 2 style of Jak, and then some problems get reinforced. Now I'm not going to do that because of some copyright issues maybe, and some others. No, it feels like the same thing, and it's not like the Sly thing where there's really big problems with transitioning. Now this game, there's a lot of cheats which are easy to get if you know glitches. Now you get 3 types of each gun. For red you get a shotgun, then you get kind of like an explosion sort of thing, and then you get a grenade launcher. Then you got machine gun, electric blast, and targeting missiles. Then we got the charge shot, which I really don't know what it is. Then we got zero gravity gun. See? Makes things fly. Then we got this, which could lag your game. Yeah, then we got this, which is technically the yellow gun, which is more of a sniper. That's why I waited until now to show you. Then there's reflective model, and then there's one that shoots tons of them at once. You can even stop it in midair. You also got the ability to transform into Dark Jak, which, if you haven't noticed, was in also the other game, except you had to wait until it was filled up, so I really couldn't show you. Now, depending if you have the cheat tool or not, it could be easy to get to them or not. You can also hold down the touchscreen and press X, circle, or triangle to go into light Jak mode. Now he's able to generate a shield, heal himself, which I can't do, which I'm sorry. You can even use it to glitch around and fly. Now, one of the biggest problems with this game is also that the jetpack can come out at unusual times and you could actually kill yourself. What's nice about this game is how big it is and how smoothly it runs. But depending if you have bad weather mode on or not, you're going to notice that it loses frames, which could be good or bad depending on if you like this series or not and you're okay with frame rate drops. You can also do tricks on your hoverboard, which I really don't think is important, so I kind of left that out until now. Now the graphics in this game stay steady frame, and also when I spin my camera around you can tell it's not choppy. Also character model runs good as well. Now this game is the biggest, but also did the smart thing as Jak 2 did. It separated area by area, so that when you go there, right now it's just like nothing's there. If you go over it, it'll be all glitchy. But if you activate the thing that makes it go in, it will just feel like a regular thing, and you won't see any lag, frame rates, or anything. Let me go show you. Now here we are once again, and this is where you can get vehicles and stuff to use, which is a wide variety, which can be fun, really fun. Which I'm not going to show because that would make this review even longer than it has to be. Now it takes a while for it to load, but when it does, you get introduced to this beautiful landscape, which has a little to no name. It's called Spargus, so Now you gotta ride these leaper lizards around wherever you go. And if you're inside this city, sometimes you can lose frames on it for no apparent reason, but I tend to ignore it. And also, if you're near groups of large enemies and you kill them, you're gonna see some frame rate drops. I mean large amounts. Because of all the lighting I showed you before. And I know this game, yeah, it still looks pretty with the flash, but if there's too much of that flashy, it will become laggy and almost unplayable. So, now it's time to give my basics on what it should be rated. Now, depending on who you are, you might like this game or you might not. But if you want to buy this game, you can. It's your choice. Now, what I score is around 15 points or stars, whatever you want to call it. Now, to some, they like the game because it's nostalgic, even though it has frame rate drops. To others, though, they hate it because of the frame rate drops. Like Jak and Daxter, probably the most unplayable if you have that issue. Now, to give this thing a fair rating due to how big the maps are, how good the graphics are, how well everything's molded together into excellent HD format, even though it's a little bit below the PS3 standard, I would rate this game a 7. Now 7 means, it can mean a lot of things for you guys. It can mean it has a lot of replay value if you're nostalgic, and you'll play through it again and again. Or it could be 7 like it's a good game you'll play through once, and you won't play through it again. Now the reason why it's a 7 also is because it's not well put together all the way. As you can tell from Jak 3. Jak 1 I mean. Or Jak and Daxter. Now, if I propose that you get this game, you should get it. If you're not into the series though, you might just want to pass. Unless you want to see why this game was one of the 3 big ones of the PS2 era. And that's about what covers the review. Now to recap, it's a 7-point score. It's good, but it's not perfect. Far from perfect. But it's well poured and deserves an applaud for how well it was put together. So that's it for the review, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe and like, and I can't wait to do more reviews like this one. Stay tuned for more Psvita game reviews like this. Subscribe and like, and Dev 2 out.